What's up, guys? Have a little project I'm going to work on today. Figured why not make a video about it. Got a 20 high. I'm going to make a paludarium out of it. So this is what I got so far. I've taken and beat the rims off of this tank and taken the top pane of glass off, which was obviously the end. What I'm going to do now is take this 20 high apart here that has a busted bottom and end in it, and get a piece of glass that I can cut and use for the bottom here. So I'm going to show you how to knock the rim off of that and get that piece of glass out of there, and I'll show you how to do that now. Basically what we're going to do is take this 2x4 and smack these corners and try to get them bust free. So I think this one's already kind of moving a little bit. This corner's pretty tight, so we're going to see what we can do. The rim kind of broke, so we just bust that loose. There's that half, flip it over. Make sure you can still see what's going on. Yep. All right. Go. There's the rim off. Alright, so what I'm going to now is I'm going to pull these loose pieces off, so that way we can try to gain access to the whole piece without cutting ourselves up and having to deal with pieces falling. So just try to get a razor blade in here, pull a little bit of silicone out of those seams. You can see that. Boom, come right off. There we go. Set these over to the side. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is flip this back over, and I'm going to cut those seals out. I'm not sure how good I'm going to videotape that, so I'm probably just going to cut those out and then show you once it's updated and all done. So next step, we're going to take a feeler gauge. You can get these Harbor Freight, probably get them at Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever, or just Amazon. What we're going to do is get it in between this wall and the floor piece and run it through to break that seal free. It's in between those two panes of glass. Pretty much just going to pull it straight down. I'm going to switch my arm in here so I don't get cut up. And that slides through pretty easy. Alright. Spin it around with the same thing this side. Hopefully you can still see that, or at least get the idea of what I'm doing. Alright, now I'm gonna hold this so that way it doesn't fall. I'm gonna lay that back down. Now should seal right up. There she is. I forgot to say, if you wanted to take this the rest of the way apart, from here you would just take your feeler gauge and run it down between those other 4 corner seams, and you should be able to pretty much just take these panes and just peel them apart and clean up the silicone from there, and then you have all your extra glass. It might help to bust the other rim off, but that's the same process as the bottom rim. Not too hard. I found that knocking the rim off like that with a 2x4 is way easier than trying to cut up under there with a razor blade and get it off that way. But yeah, that's it for taking the pane of glass off. Now we're probably just gonna clean that pane up and try to cut it to size. So next step, I'm just gonna take a fresh razor blade and clean any more of that seal that's on there. Just kind of knock all that off. On these edges too. Knock that off. All right. So the plan is we're going to take and cut this down to the width of the opening, and then we're going to cut it down to the height that we want. So let's see, the width is 11 13/16, but we want to give ourselves like a 1/16 of an inch on each side for silicone, so we're going to make that 1/8 of an inch narrower. So we're going to go at 11 11/16. So 11 11/16. Move the cameras to the other side so you can see a little bit better. Spray down a little bit of oil, lubricate the cutting edge. Kind of run it back and forth with it a little bit lightly. All right. And that didn't do what I wanted at all. So let's see if we can flip that over. Work some magic. Well, that did not do what we wanted it to do at all. Great, so let me try something else. There we go. That's what we're looking for. I think I was messing it up by scoring more than once. So it worked perfect. So I think next what I'm gonna do is clean that piece of glass up, and then we'll get the silicone in and on. The best way I found to clean this up is going to use Barkeeper's Friend. A little bit on there. Rub it all in. That'll take off all the old grime off that glass. This piece of glass was the bottom, obviously, so it's going to have more scratches on it than, say, a side piece or whatever. But it is what it is. It's just, you know, a little fun project and whatever. Did come out pretty good though. It's not too messed up. I think it'll be all right. Yeah, it should be good. One last thing I'm gonna do before I go silicone in this piece of glass in and all that. I'm gonna spray it now with some soapy water and sand these edges a little bit. Try to make sure you're just sanding the edge and not getting flat so you don't scratch up your glass. Just get that corner. And be careful, you don't want your hand to slip and catch that. This will be especially important for the top edge where you reach your hand or your arm in there. You don't want to get cut up on that edge. So I'm using soapy water. It can just be regular water. Soapy water is just what I had. So. This will be the edge, the top edge. So I'm just gonna give it a little extra. Really make sure it's nice and smooth. Yeah, it should be good. Just clean that up a little bit and we're good to go. All right, next thing I'm gonna go in here with a razor blade and cut out all this old seal, especially on the bottom side. Up top doesn't matter as much since there's not gonna be water there. But yeah, I'm just gonna scrape out all the seal, and then we'll go in and reseal this bottom and put in our bottom piece of glass. I'm gonna just do a time lapse for that.